What is up, ladies and gentlemen? This is David with Mac Tutorials 14. This is Let's Talk World, episode number 1. I have my co-hosts on the line, Greg from The Greg Show.
What's up, David?
And Jackson from Jackson Cooper Games.
How you doing?
What's up, guys? How are you?
Doing dandy.
What about you, Jackson?
Alright, that went well. So
Jackson.
what are we talking about first, David?
No, I said Jackson. How are you?
I said fine as well.
Okay. All right. So let's get started. All right. So the first thing that we have to talk about is movies. So before we get into any of this, though, I did just want to say to everyone that this is something new that we're trying, and hopefully it goes pretty well. And yeah, so this is the first episode, and for whatever reason, the only thing that we could use for this recording is OBS. So if the quality is not good, then just let us know, and we'll try to get it sorted out for the next time we record. But anyway, yeah, so let's go with, I guess, let's start. So anyway, so the first thing we have to talk about is movies. So the first thing we have to talk about is Jurassic World. So I only saw the trailer for this. I didn't actually ever see the original movie, but I heard it was actually a really good movie. Have you guys ever seen the original movie?
I've seen a couple of them.
Oh, there's more than one?
Yeah, I think there's more than one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. To my knowledge. I'll look it up. But, David, do you mind recapping the trailer for me?
Basically, what I remember is there's like, they're like genetically modifying these, like, I don't even know what it is, into like dinosaurs, and it's basically like the same, I guess the same plot line as the rest of the movies, except they're back and it's like a sequel. I don't exactly know from the trailer, just because from the trailer it was like a bunch of different stuff thrown in there, but it was like genetically modified, from what I get out, genetically modified creatures to be like dinosaurs. And I think it's set in the 21st century. I could be wrong, but I think it's set in present day. I'm pretty sure. But yeah, anyway, this looks like, again, it's going to be a pretty good movie. I'm not into these kinds of movies, though. I like more of the action-packed type of movies, even though this probably is action. This just isn't my, I don't watch these kind of movies. I more watch the, the Hunger Games, which, signaling into our next topic. We'll talk about that in a second, but, I just don't like, I don't really, I've never seen a single Jurassic Park movie. I've heard about it, but I really have never seen it. Have you guys watched any of the Jurassic Park films at all?
Well, thank you for asking that again. And, to be honest, I would see this because I'm kind of into the science fiction, but I want to see it with other people. If you know what I mean. Like, I don't want to go see it alone just in case. This probably looks like it could be confusing, but I doubt it will.
What about you?
Oh, Jackson.
Always had it deep in my heart for a little part where you just see a movie that you want to see with friends. I mean, nothing special though. Just depends on how you want to look at the film.
So it's like dating someone without liking them, just for the fun of it.
I guess pretty much.
Okay, good enough. Metaphor / simile / whatever religious language that was.
All right, so the next thing we got is Mockingjay Part 1. So, boy, this was definitely a great movie. I did see this. I saw this last weekend, and it was supposed to work out that me and Greg were actually going to go together along with a couple of other guys, but he couldn't make it.
Beauty calls. Beauty called, and it spoke loudly.
So anyway, he couldn't make it to the theater, so it was me and a couple of other guys who went to see it, and it was a great movie. Generally, it was a lot more like the book. It's the Hunger Games trilogy is based off of books, if you didn't know. Did you guys read any of the books or see any of the movies? What's your guys's?
I read all the books, and I saw both the movies before it, but I didn't get to see it, obviously, like you said.
So
Never been able to see the movies. I've read all the books.
Well, that's a good start.
Just to wait for all those movies to get on onto Netflix. Catch up with them.
I feel you.
That's all. Yeah.
I mean, you might as well, just because the rate that Netflix uploads their stuff, you know, it used to be where like Netflix had like no new movies, but I feel like they kind of renovated their site a little bit, so now they're kind of pulling in like when you see a movie come on demand, now it'll somewhat show up on Netflix within the next couple of weeks.
Yeah. And kind of brings into another topic where recently Netflix had shown a movie that had come in theaters on the same day that it came out on Netflix.
Really?
Really?
What movie was that? Do you have any?
Yo, explain that, because I don't think Greg and I are familiar with that.
Yeah, I'm not familiar.
Trying to think of the name right now.
Okay. Take your time. It's all Gucci.
There are so many like fumbling things going on in the background. I don't know what's going on right now.
Someone's having a crazy night. I don't want to talk about it. I really don't want to talk about it.
We can leave that up to interpretation, huh?
No, it's not. Let's not, please. That's weird on so many levels.
I know.
But, no. GG. You having a fun time there, Jackson?
It was.
Yo, we can hear you typing. I'm just saying, it's really loud.
Crouching Tiger.
It was what?
Crouching Tiger sequel.
What kind of name is that?
I've never heard of that movie, but I don't doubt that Netflix did that. But
Tiger Named Dragon.
Alright, well, I think we're getting off topic, so I think we should go to the next topic.
okay, so
Just trying to save time.
okay, so the next thing we have on our list is Dumb and Dumber 2. Now, I personally have not seen this movie myself. I saw Dumb and Dumber 1, hilarious movie. If you've never seen it, you have to see it. It's one of it goes down as probably top 10 of the funniest movies ever.
Yeah,
It's really good.
I'd have to concur on that one.
Yeah.
Classic.
Yeah. So, have
What? You go.
have you guys seen Dumb and Dumber 2 yet or no?
Yeah.
Oh,
Bit of
right.
letdown.
Yeah, that's what my brother said when he saw it, but I haven't
Yeah.
seen it.
Definitely didn't live up to its expectations that the first one had. On,
Most don't, unfortunately.
sadly, yeah.
Well, I feel like, and that's kind of how I feel. Unfortunately, I feel like that's kind of how it is with sequels. You know, within the first movie, it's kind of like, you know, it's just the first movie is really good, and then the second movie they try to kind of go back and say, okay, well, what was good about the first movie, and they can't replicate that plot, so they try to replicate it and then change around things, and it just doesn't make it live up to the full potential of what it should be. So
And for example, like Anchorman 2, another classic, it's a bunch of reused humor.
right.
That's all it is.
And, I mean, after the movie had been released and it's been 20 years since the
That's
first
true.
one
Yeah.
come out, it's like, you just expect it to live up to its expectations.
Yeah. If
Yeah.
they're gonna wait that long, they better.
Yeah.
be good.
I mean, this is just kind of like a notice for movie companies that are like trying to make sequels for movies that came out 20 years ago. Like, you want to make sure if you're making a sequel to a movie that came out 20 years ago, you want to make sure that it's you know, got a good plot to it. You know, people are gonna like it. You know, it's gonna do good in the box office for the first couple of days, because people are going to want to go watch it because the first one was so good, and you know, it's been 20 years since and everything. But then as people figure out that it's not such a great movie, they're not going to want to go see it, and it's going to kill off the franchise, because you made a franchise out of the movie. And basically, if you add a sequel to that, I have a feeling, unfortunately, that's what's going to happen with Dumb and Dumber 2 and, you know, a bunch of other you know, movies. As you get up and up and up in sequels, it kind of kills off the franchise. It kind of gives it a bad rap a little bit. and kind of, yeah. So, I guess the next thing we have to talk about is Interstellar. Now, I have not yet seen Interstellar myself, but I know Greg has. Greg, what's your opinion on Interstellar? Maybe explain us a little bit of the plot line.
Well, hopefully this clears it up. That Interstellar is not just a movie, it's life. So, chill. And honestly, if you haven't seen it, you have not. So, it is just a mix of plot, facts, and what is it? A picture's called cinematography. I don't think that's what it is, but it's just the atmosphere. It's just amazing. It's just the pictures are just awesome. So yeah, that's pretty much all I really have to say about it. But there's so much I could go into it about it. It would just take too long.
Okay, so I'm just to save time, I'm gonna like briefly skim over some of these things just because I don't want this to go on for too long because we have a lot. We're like on the third thing on our list. We have a lot more to talk about, so I want to make sure we talk about all this stuff today, which is why I'm kind of skimming over some of this stuff. So next thing on our list was Insurgent. Basically, it's the sequel to Divergent, which came out I guess June? Did it come out June or did it come out last year? I don't even remember. It seems like it wasn't that long ago when it came out.
I think it was quite a while ago.
It was?
Yeah.
Okay.
Quite a while ago.
Because it seems like to me it didn't come out that long ago. It seems to me like it came out on DVD not that long ago, from what I remember. But maybe I'm just, I don't know. Anyway, so the sequel to Divergent, Insurgent, will be out. I don't know when it's coming out, but it will be out, I think, sometime this spring. I think that because I saw the trailer for it in the movie theater. So when I was looking up movies, I was like, oh, Insurgent, we got to talk about that because I saw the trailer. It's a sequel to Divergent. Divergent did really well at the box office. A lot of people were calling it basically, which we talked about earlier, the Hunger Games equivalent. Basically, the storylines are kind of the same, except it's tweaked a little bit. It's definitely different. There's different characters, but it kind of is in that same futuristic type world where it's not everything's, it's like a weird kind of alternate universe. And going back to, I just want to go back to Mockingjay for a minute and the Hunger Games franchise. There's a really, really good conspiracy theory about the Hunger Games that I think you guys would love. I'm not sure if you guys have heard about it though.
I haven't really heard much.
Familiar with it and what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So anyway, basically what it is basically, let's see if I can explain this right. So basically, people are speculating that the Hunger Games takes place, that all of the books and all the movies take place in a time, basically in an alternate universe, in an alternate reality, as if the Britons won the Revolutionary War in the 1800s. And it makes sense a little bit if you think about it, because there were 13 colonies back in the 1700s when back before the United States was actually, the United States, it was the 13 colonies, and there are 13 districts in the Hunger Games, both in the books.
It makes sense, but I don't know.
So, and
it's a little far-fetched for me.
I mean, it kind of, like, one of the reasons why, it kind of makes sense, sort of, is just because, I'm trying to think of the word to describe it. It was more of a, I think it was like, I think it's monarchy. I think that's what it's called, for Britain, where basically they had a king and a queen, of Britain. And basically, in order for them to stay in power, it would make sense if in an alternate universe, in order for the king and queen to stay in power, they needed to enforce some type of system where it induces fear into the people, into the inhabitants of the country or wherever it is. So the perfect way to do that is by killing people off, which would be, the Hunger Games. So it does make sense a little bit if you think about it, but I don't know. I just thought that's something the viewers and you guys would like to hear about.
Yeah, it's just a little. I hear myself. It's just a little far fetched, but it does make sense. And I think the last thing we should do on this matter is, would that really happen? If it is true, would that really happen?
I really, to be honest, I don't think so, but it's more of like, again, this is fiction, so it's not like, everything's going to be 100% true, and it's not like this is 100% definitely what would have happened if the British won if the British won the Revolutionary War back in the 1700s before the United States was, created. Maybe this is what would have happened. Maybe it's what wouldn't have happened. Maybe they would have chose to go a different route. But it's, it makes you look at the Hunger Games trilogy a little bit from a different light because, we're looking at this from a future perspective. It's completely fictional. This is it's the city of Panem. It's completely fictional. This would never happen. And, we're just put in this city, that has 13 districts, and it's maybe just a coincidence that it has 13 districts and there were 13 colonies. But I guess there's really no real way to know. But that's a quick conspiracy theory on the Hunger Games that I thought people would like.
Alright, I think we're good on that one, so I say we move to the next one, which is Pitch Perfect. Yes.
Pitch Perfect 2. Now, Pitch Perfect, the original Pitch Perfect, I think, was probably goes down as one of the best comedies that I've seen recently.
Me too. I'd have to agree.
It was really good. Now I know a lot of the people listening are probably going to criticize me and say that like it's a girly movie or it's wow, we're having a lot of white noise and stuff going on in the background. I don't know what's going on there, but anyway,
Always push to talk.
So anyway, so basically, Pitch Perfect was basically about this girl. Man, it's gonna kill me. I can't remember the girl's name, but
the main one.
Yeah, the main. No, not the actress. No, the name of the character.
Yeah, they were named.
Yeah, no, but she's played by Anna Kendrick, and so anyway, and the the Cup song.
I'll look it up right now.
That was made popular by Pitch Perfect last year, and that kind of became like a viral thing. So I mean, I don't know. Pitch Perfect, I think, kind of took on a mind of its own, the first movie. So I don't know if it's Pitch Perfect 2, I'm definitely going to go see. But I don't know, especially since Pitch Perfect 1 introduced... I mean, it wasn't... Oh, yeah, that was her name. Becca.
Right.
Becca.
Right.
Yeah. So basically, it's Becca, and she basically is... I guess she's in a... I forget what the name of the college is, but she's in a college... And basically, she goes there and, she's really into, like, music and, like, DJing and stuff. And basically, what I always wondered when I was watching this, this movie is I wonder if Apple got any profit from having some of their products being featured in the movie because she, was using a MacBook. If I remember correctly. And I think she might have had an iPhone. I'm not 100% sure. But...
Or she had a flip phone, I think.
Yeah.
At the end.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure that's... I don't know exactly what... But I do remember she had a MacBook. So I'm not... I kind of wondered if Apple was, if they were, giving money... I think it was Fox who made... I'm not 100% sure the company who made the movie, but... I'm wondering if the company had to pay, some money out of their pocket, give some money out of their pocket to Apple. If you want to use our stuff in your movie, you got to kind of pay for the, for the licensing and for, for the rights to the to show to show the products in your movie.
That could also be Apple paying them to use it
for promotion. Yeah, that would make sense. But yeah, so anyway, just to kind of finish off that topic, I don't know if Pitch Perfect 2 is going to be as widely successful as Pitch Perfect 1 because it did kind of introduce something new-ish. There was kind of still that idea, there was like a cup game before that, but it wasn't as popular as the Cup song was like a viral trend. Like Pitch Perfect 1 made the Cup song what it is. Like it's like just I don't want to keep going on and on about this, but like basically what I'm saying is I don't know if Pitch Perfect 2 is going to have kind of that same trend to it, if it's going to introduce that same trend to this year, if there's going to still be a trend. In the trailer, they do start out with a slow version of the Cup song. It doesn't include the the hand motions and everything, but it's the lyrics. So I guess they're still bringing that song back, but I don't know how good that's going to work out. I don't know if that's going to work out at all. But anyway, yeah, that's pretty much all we have to talk about Pitch Perfect 2.
Let's go to the next one. I say we skip the Peanuts because I'm not sure what that is, and I say we go to Avengers because that's more of a live topic, and we should probably just save some time.
So, so basically just to skim over, whatever company is thinking of making a Peanuts reboot. So, and that's like basically, if you don't know what Peanuts is, it's basically Charlie Brown. But anyway, that's pretty much it for that. So Avengers 2, Age of Ultron. So this by far is one of my most anticipated movies that I definitely want to go see this. This comes out this May, so it's going to be in movie theaters this May. I definitely want to catch it. If not midnight release, I definitely want to catch it opening weekend, just because this is going to be a fantastic movie to go see. If you want to go see an action-packed movie, Avengers is going to be your go-to movie. Regardless if you haven't read any of the comics, I guarantee you, just go see Avengers 2 Age of Ultron when it comes out. You're going to be amazed. It's just the effects in it, the action. Regardless, like I said, if you read the comics or saw TV shows or animated series or whatever, just go see the movies regardless of who you are. If you like action, you're going to love this. So, anyway. Yeah. Also,
the kind of confusing storyline. Like, the misleading trailer with the Iron Man and they're like his little minions going like rogue, and also him fighting the Hulk. That was interesting to me. I didn't understand that very well, but I guess we'll find out.
Yeah. So I haven't read any of the comics either. I'm gonna actually admit to that. I haven't read really any of the comics, so I don't really. So I don't really know what's going on. So for viewers that have actually read the comics, then you guys are gonna probably be able to understand the trailer and what's going on in the plot line better than we are, because this was actually a comic book story, I believe. This came out of one of the issues in a comic book. So this is, I guess, it's going to be pretty cool to see it play out on screen for those of you who have actually read it in the comics. But I have not read it in the comics, so I don't know really what's going on. But this is going to be a fantastic sequel, and I'm looking forward to their explanation as to because obviously Tony Stark is coming back. It's confirmed 100%. Like, we saw Iron Man in the trailer, so we know that he's coming back. We know that his character is going to be back. And for those of you guys who have not seen Iron Man 3 yet, cover your ears for now, because this is basically just going to spoil Iron Man 3. But basically, the events of Iron Man 3, when, when he blows up most of his suits and he takes his heart out and basically takes the heart protector out with, that was protecting it for all that time. When he finally takes it out and blows up the suits, it kind of gives off a vibe that he's done, but not quite done. So it's going to be kind of cool to see, if at all. Maybe they won't even go there. Maybe it'll just be like he randomly appeared there and, okay, he's a part of the Avengers again. Maybe they'll go more in depth. Okay, Pepper was in trouble, so I made new suits, and now I'm a part of the Avengers again. Maybe that's how they'll explain it. I'm not 100% sure. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Yeah, you pretty much summed it up for me. That's pretty much.
Okay. So
I'm okay. Are you good with that?
Yeah, so anyway, the next thing we wanted to talk about is Batman versus Superman. Now, we don't know much about this right now, but we do know that Batman will be played by Ben Affleck. So that's going to be probably pretty interesting to see him play Batman on the big screen. And just, it's kind of going to be weird to not see Christian Bale playing Batman, because we've grown accustomed to Christian Bale playing, voicing Batman and playing Batman. So it's kind of going to be weird not hearing that deep, Batman voice. And I don't know. So I'm definitely looking forward to this. It's going to be an awesome. This is like an Avengers 2 kind of movie. See Batman versus Superman again. If you have not read any of the comics, I guarantee you'll love this. So basically, I guess this was a good marketing aspect for them because DC in general, they did so well in the box office with all the Batman movies, not so well with the Superman movies. So I think kind of, they wanted to do well again in the box office. So they were like, all right, people love Batman, but, we kind of wrote in the last one in Dark Knight Rises, we kind of wrote Batman off for now. We kind of pushed that series to the side. So what's the next best way to introduce Batman again? That would be to have him play side by side with Superman, because Superman, there was supposed to be a sequel anyway. And because that wasn't as well received as Batman was, they figured we might as well just throw Batman in there and make that the sequel. So, I mean, what do you guys think about it? Do you think it's a good decision?
Jackson, you can go first if you want.
Yeah. It could go both ways. It's really good. I mean, depending on how you look at it, I mean, I'd be more on the agreeing side than what.
Yeah, well, I loved the Batman movies, especially the new one with Bane, and I'm pretty sure I saw parts of Man of Steel, but I didn't see the entire one, but it looked pretty good. But yeah, I'm kind of psyched for it.
Yeah, okay. So anyway, let's move on to the tech category.
Wait, I have a suggestion. How about we go over Black Friday first, and then just so we can get that out of the way, because it's more current.
All right. So, hold on. Let me scroll over. Okay. So, I just kind of highlighted a little bit. There's definitely going to be, it's Thanksgiving tomorrow. So happy Thanksgiving to people that are, watching us now. You know what? I didn't actually ever even check if anyone's watching us now. I doubt anyone's watching us now.
I'm streaming as well, but I'm just doing it so other people can see it now, just in case they don't get on my YouTube, which I will be posting. So, hello, future people.
Okay, so
I kind of wanted to get this Black Friday done now because it'll be more current.
So anyway, so this basically, Black Friday. If you don't know what it is, which I can't imagine you don't, because it's like, there's been stories about, I think it happened either last year or the year before with Black Friday, where there was people like, fighting over televisions and like beating each other up over it. I mean, it's just, it's crazy.
There's been deaths over it.
There's
been 7, I think, that were last year.
Give me that dang scarf!
I mean, it's just insane the lengths that people will go to get deals on Black Friday. And a lot of times it's not even, you don't even save that much, to be honest, because, it's just, I mean, you save a little bit, but as opposed to killing someone, do you really think you'd rather save money than kill someone? I mean, it just, I don't know.
I'd rather get a new scarf, to be honest. I'd take someone's life.
Okay. Well, anyway.
Super lethal stabbed.
Super lethal, super dark Greg over here.
It's Black Friday. You gotta do what you gotta do. It's Black Friday. It's not White Friday.
You're missing Thanksgiving for this.
Yeah. And that's true too. A lot of times people will actually camp out at the store during Thanksgiving, and it's kind of a shame because during Thanksgiving you're supposed to be with your family. You're supposed to be eating at home. Eating turkey and stuffing and all that good, awesome food that you get on Thanksgiving, and saying what you're thankful for, and it's a tradition, an American tradition. You're supposed to be doing that, and for those people that are standing in line, not even communicating with their family, staying in line waiting for the Xbox One or waiting for a brand new HD television to be on sale from Best Buy or from GameStop or wherever it is you're camping out past Thanksgiving just to save maybe $75 to $100 on that specific product. I know it does sound like a lot, but in the end, I don't think it's worth it for me.
Yeah. All right, mentioned deals, so let's talk about the best deals.
So, right now, for the Xbox One, it is $329, or not right now, but for Black Friday, the Xbox One is going to be $329, along with, I think, some digitally downloaded games. I don't know 100% what they are. I think it's like some exclusive, downloadable content games, DLC. I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, so that's going to be...
Hold on a second. I just looked up the best deals, and you might be surprised about this one. Xbox One with Assassin's Creed Unity game, $299.
Really?
Yeah, I just looked that up, and that's crazy.
I mean, not that I believe Blake or anything, but he just got the Assassin's Creed Unity bundle today, and he said that the guy gave him Black Friday deals, and he paid like $500. So
Blake probably gave the guy an extra $500 because he can't do that, but that's a different story. Just kidding, Blake. Love you, buddy.
We love you, troll hitter, if you're watching this. Anyway, so I don't know. If that's true, wow, that's interesting. So
yeah, that's quite interesting. Also, no one cares about the 360, but it's $99 now.
Well,
that's also a 4 gigabyte Xbox.
Hey, that's
just download the Dora game.
That's the one. That's the one that Blake had. The 4 gigabyte. I don't know. Anyway, so moving on. So also too at Best Buy, Best Buy is running a Black Friday sale for the iPad Mini 2 and the iPad Mini 3. You're saving $75. I guess that would be what? So the iPad Mini is like roughly $399. I would say. I don't know. I'm just guessing because I'm not even looking at it. I'm just looking at the list here. The iPad Mini 2 and iPad Mini 3. I would Google it, but I'm lazy right now.
I got you.
Okay. But anyway, so so it's going to be pretty interesting to see what antics people are up to this year, how far they will go just to get products on Black Friday and save, whatever amount of money it is. I just don't...
It's really just about the sales. It's like companies lower the prices just to get the customers in. They'll offer a better deal. But these people are roughly, I'd say, just going because either maybe they just don't want to celebrate Thanksgiving this year, or maybe they have like early Thanksgiving, I guess.
Well, not only that, but you do bring up a good point. From a lot of these companies tried to get people to get in. You'll see, and I've seen it too. I go online and I look just to see, just to see what's going on with Black Friday, and I look, and there was, I think last year and maybe this year, there was a TV. I can't remember the exact model, but there was a TV that was selling for like, I don't know, like $600, and they advertise it as before it was costing maybe like $1,000 to $1,200. So you're saving a lot of money there. But you type in the model number maybe on Amazon or on the company's website, and they only have the reviews. They might not even have any reviews, or the reviews might only go back for like a week. And that's because what they actually do is they actually take these TVs, they strip them down apart, and remodel them, reconfigure it, and make a specific model for Black Friday. So you're not actually getting 100% what's been on the market, before. You're actually getting a modified version of a television that's been on the market, and they're selling it to you for less because they're using cheaper parts, and they're making it cheaper, and it's not going to be the best quality. So you can't always get, the best things for Black Friday.
Yeah, for all you know, you're getting a defected, dead robot inside your TV that's going to kill you in the night. Well, it's pretty much what you said, but...
Pretty much, I guess.
Well, that's pretty much all about Black Friday. Is there anything else to talk about?
Think of the people who have to work there. I mean, I know they're probably getting paid a little bit extra to work there on Thanksgiving.
Oh yeah, if they weren't, I would either quit or demand that I get more.
I'd just walk in and they'd be like, "Sure, can you work?" I'd be like,
Honestly, it's just an option to work there on Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
though.
No.
They wouldn't make you work on Thanksgiving. It's a holiday. I mean, it's not like
Yeah.
it's not like you choose to want to spend your time wasting your time with all these angry and rude customers.
That just want to go in, for the deals, and that's all they care about.
Yeah, and they're all demanding and fighting over things.
you stand in their way, your head comes off. Hey man, are you gonna buy that? Yes.
Give me that. Shoots him in the head.
I'll take this scarf. Actually, can I have it? No.
Okay, so anyway, I think that's about it for Black Friday.
Yeah, I said
But
you go to tech and that should be good.
yeah, so the next thing that we have to talk about is tech. So this is really awesome, actually. This has been in development for a couple of years now. They came out with a couple of models. The first model they came out with was just terrible. It didn't even look like a car. So it's getting better and better as time goes on. But this is version 3.0 of Aeromobile. It's called Aeromobile version 3.0, and this is actually really really awesome. Basically, it's a flying car. So this is awesome because if you guys have ever seen the movie Back to the Future, which in my viewpoint, that's a classic movie. So if you haven't seen it, you definitely should go watch it, the two of you. But anyway, so there was like flying cars in Back to the Future 2, and like just a bunch of stuff that we don't have yet in 2015. That was the date where they traveled into the future, and we don't have much of that stuff. We don't have. So it's kind of going to be cool if they do release it in 2015. That'd actually be really, really cool. But we don't know exactly when it's going to release, but it probably will be a couple of years before it releases. But this is just awesome. Basically, it's a car. It runs, from what I understand, it runs on normal fuel. I'm not 100% sure, but there are engines in the back. And basically, you just take off, and it looks a little bit more like an airplane than it does a car. It basically looks like a dumbed down version of an airplane, and it basically looks like a car with wings attached to it. That's basically, in a nutshell, what it looks like. So I mean, this I'm just getting excited for this because I think this is the future. Regardless of when this is going to become the future, when this is going to become a standard in the car industry, when people are going to, it does kind of, I guess, point out kind of a huge problem for this, a huge flaw for this, which is, if people get this and this becomes a standard, what are we going to be doing about traffic? What are we going to be doing about, there's no way to moderate traffic. Like, you can't have floating traffic lights. Like, I don't know. I don't know how this would work. So,
past a red light.
like, I don't know how this would work in terms of traffic and in terms of regular usage as opposed to on the ground. On the ground it would make sense because, things are bolted in. It's, obviously, you're able to.
Wouldn't everyone have to retake their license test for driver's test?
Yeah, and that's another thing too. Greg, actually, you bring up a good point. That's actually another thing because right now, as of right now, it's not required to be able to to fly a plane. I guarantee you less than half the people that are on the road today probably know how to drive. Less than half the people that know how to drive a car today that are on the road in the entire world probably don't know how to drive or don't know how to fly a plane. So this would become a huge problem if this becomes a standard, in the car industry. And, if this becomes a standard, people are going to need to know how to fly, the car. And it's going to be basically, you're going to need to basically figure out, get a pilot's license and, stuff like that. So, I don't know. that is a really really good point there. And I don't know what they're going to be doing with that. I think it's kind of going to become a standard in the future. I think maybe you'll have to take your driver's license along with your pilot's license. So you'll have to be taking your driver's test and your pilot's test, if that makes any sense.
We're screwed 2 years then.
Well, not in 2 years, but I'm saying when the technology,
Still.
when the iPhone first came out, it wasn't like, bam, instantly everyone had it and it was a standard in the in the fields of technology. It took a couple of years for the technology to advance. Other companies were coming out with similar products. Samsung was coming out with products such as the Galaxy and, different smartphones that basically acted like the iPhone. So it's going to be, a couple of years before we see kind of the world, the car world transforming into into the air, basically. So, I mean, what are your opinions about that, though?
That's pretty much it. I really said all that, I think, Jackson.
It could probably with a lot of maybe older people, I'd say, they wouldn't really change to it, I'd say.
Yeah.
I think maybe the wealthier people would be the first to have access to this, obviously.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe as time goes on, maybe that's something that, like, Elon Musk / like the CEO of Tesla, maybe that's something he would start doing.
Yeah.
Seeing as he started his own SpaceX, which is something where he's going to fly astronauts into space as like a side program of NASA, which isn't NASA's actual program, but he invented it for them, so he gets paid to send them into space instead of them having to go with Russians.
Right.
And obviously, that's something that involves flying, so it could always be a possibility of just how you look at it.
Yeah. Also, this would bring on a whole new age of the car industry. Like, would regular car businesses go into bankruptcy, or would things like Tesla help and sponsor them by making them flying cars and they can sell them in their brand name for a cost? That would be a huge problem.
Honestly, I think they're going to have to adapt. And I say that just because of the fact that, when the iPhone was, I'm going to make this, this example again. When the iPhone was first released, a lot of people didn't have that was the first device, in 2007. It was the first device that it was an all touch screen. It didn't have any keyboard on it. And that was like, now any new phone you get, regardless, even if it's a cheap, like $50 or $60 phone, it's not going to have a keyboard. It might not function well. It might have Android on it. It might be a terrible version of Android and it might not function well, but still it's going to have an all touchscreen. It might not be as responsive as an Apple iPhone or as a higher priced Samsung device that has a good version of Android on it. But it definitely will have a full-on touchscreen with it. So that's a standard now in the phone industry. So it's gonna. I think and they the companies did adapt to that slowly. Years afterward they adapted. So I think that's possible. I think a lot of the brands, a lot of the company brands. A lot of the car company brands that we see around now, Ford, Acura, just to name a few. Obviously there's a bunch more, but they're gonna have to adapt. So I think in the next couple of years after that gets released, we're gonna see that happen. And I don't know if Airmobile is gonna work with some of those companies, partner with some of those companies to basically say, here's the technology, go make your own version of it, or they're gonna basically take the Airmobile and say, all right, we're going to reverse engineer this, see, how this is working. We're going to make our own version of it. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Yeah, that's pretty much it, actually. And also, speaking of iPhone circulation to kind of break off Era Mobile, you saw the 71 million iPhones to be sold, projected. That's a big number, David.
Yeah, so it came out of I don't remember exactly what blog reported this, but someone actually reported that Apple's expected to sell 71 million iPhones in this holiday fourth quarter of 2014. So this coming holiday season. So Christmas, Thanksgiving, Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever religion you are, the holiday season, whatever it is. They're projected to sell 71 million iPhones this year. So I don't know 100% if I believe this or if I don't. It definitely seems like it could be believable, just because of the sales of the iPhone 6. A lot of the people would most likely go with the Samsung devices because they had a bigger screen. There was no, except for like the 4.1 inch display of the iPhone 5S and below, when it got even smaller, when they increased the size, from the 4S to the 5, that helped it a little bit, but still, there was, they call them phablets. There were, phones that look like tablets that are really big, 5.7 inch displays, 6 inch, just like really, really big displays. And Apple didn't make one for a really long time. So I think Apple was kind of trying to, please those people that were choosing to go with Samsung because they wanted a bigger display, because they knew they could do more with it, with the iPhone 6 and the iPhone 6 Plus, because the iPhone 6 is 4.7 and the iPhone 6 Plus is 5.5 inches. So together they are both different in size of the previous generation iPhone 5S. So I do think that Apple was kind of trying to modify the size a little bit to, like I said, please the people that were going with Samsung's models and different other companies' models that had bigger displays. And stuff like that. So it doesn't seem like it'd be far off, because I think the iPhone 6 and the iPhone 6 Plus is attracting new users. The resolution on the iPhone 6 Plus looks amazing. The camera's great. Everything's just really, really good about the new iPhone. So I don't see any reason why, this couldn't happen.
All right. Well, speaking of differences in phones, and you're talking about how they're going to sell all the 6 Pluses, right? They're selling all 6 Pluses. Why would they only discontinue the iPhone 5C if you're saying that there's like differences in the phones? Why would they only do the 5C?
It's all about sales.
Yeah, but isn't the 5S the same? They would know more.
No, it's not. It's not the same, because the 5S is basically the iPhone 5C's size, but it's using an aluminum backing, just like the 5. And see, I don't know. I guess we'll never really get to the bottom of why Apple just randomly decided to completely phase out and discontinue the iPhone 5 and bring in the iPhone 5C. I'll never really know the exact reason why they decided to do that. In my opinion, I think the iPhone 5 is much better than the iPhone 5C, just because the plastic backing, while it might be a little bit supportive, I think aluminum is definitely a lot better as far as it goes with backing, because, the plastic might be a little bit more scratch resistant, but I think the aluminum looks a lot fancier, a lot nicer. I think it gives a better feel to the device. So that's one of the differences. And then also the Touch ID. The iPhone 5C currently does not have Touch ID. And that's one of the things as well. So if they decided to actually refresh the iPhone 5C line, the iPhone C line with the iPhone 6C, then they would actually go ahead and, implement some of the iPhone 6s, or some of the iPhone 6's, specs, or some of the, newer devices specs, like a Touch ID sensor, a better camera, a better processor, the A7 processor with the M8 coprocessor, and, just better enhanced graphics. Just basically, they were going to refresh the C line to basically run with the iPhone 5, with the iPhone 5S line, and they make it run along kind of the sidelines and the specs of the iPhone 5S. So I do think it does make sense that Apple is actually rumored to discontinue the iPhone 5C in 2015. But I mean, I don't know. It's kind of the same situation with the iPod line. I feel like they are done. They haven't made an official announcement like they're done with it, because they are still selling the 5th generation iPod in stores. So, they are still selling the iPod Touch 5th gen. But I think, for the most part, I think Apple's done with the iPod Touch. I don't think...
An iPhone 6 would be kind of pushing the boundaries of an iPhone or an iPod and a tablet. Because they're just turning iPods back into tablets if they're making it bigger.
Right.
And that would be kind of being just wasting. That would be just, people would start to realize that they're just turning iPods into tablets slowly. And then they wouldn't buy any more iPods, and it would just be a waste of marketing.
Yeah, so, I mean, what do you think about this, Jackson?
As Jackson creeps back from the corner.
As the iPod gets older, I'd say. I mean, it's just getting... People are in the need for phones now. I mean...
Yeah.
iPod was
They
more...
could always be making, like, a lesser version of the iPhone, maybe. Just, like, an iPod Touch with just, like, limited access of, like, 4G data or something.
Right.
Well, I think the iPod used to be just a backup to an iPhone. So if you couldn't afford an iPhone, you just pick up an iPod.
Yeah.
And now they're pretty much they're turning iPods into iPhones as it goes on, because all iPods now have 3G. The iPod 4 or iPod 5. 4G wireless.
I know that I don't think the iPod Touch line does, but I know that the iPad has a Wi-Fi and cellular option that you can do. So I don't think the iPod does. I'm not 100% sure. I don't think it does.
I'll look it up right now. It says that I'm looking. Just you guys keep talking. I'll find it.
Okay. So anyway, like I said, I don't know. But yeah, I think you guys definitely made great points there. I think generally as time goes on, there's definitely not a need for the iPod, in today's day and age as there was back, in 2001 when Steve Jobs first announced it. The original iPod, I mean, oh my God, it was new, it was awesome. It was the first time, really that it revolutionized music. It was the first time really that anyone had, there were portable MP3 players out on the market, but it wasn't like an iPod. An iPod was and now that music's bundled into our phones, into our tablets, we don't really need an iPod anymore. That kind of faded away as Apple just decided that they were going to implement music into the iPhone and into the iPad and different Apple products that they make. They kind of just didn't really leave a reason to use the iPod anymore. If they kind of just left music out of both the iPhone and the iPad, there would be a reason to go back to the iPod, because that would be a device specifically for music, and you would need an iPod to be able to listen to music and an iPhone to be able to do all of the other things. But just now that, the iPhone and the iPad come bundled with music, I don't feel like there's any reason why anyone would need an iPod Touch anyway, unless of course, you can't, like I said, you can't, for whatever reason have an iPhone, or, most of the times nowadays, I've actually met people nowadays, what they do is they buy an iPhone, take the SIM out of it, and disregister the cellular data, and they just use the iPhone as an iPod a lot of times. So, I mean, and they just over Wi-Fi, they're able to access the internet and text people and different stuff like that, but they take out the SIM and they, deactivate the cellular data, and they're able to just use the phone as an iPod. So, I mean, really, the iPod line has kind of just become, I think it's just become dead in a sense.
Yeah. All right, so I think we're good on the 5C topic. Let's go to the iOS still downgrade, or iOS 8.1 downgrade still available, and why?
Okay, so yes, Apple is still, as of right now, as of 11/21. Wow, that's actually ironic. 11/21, November 26th of 2014. Apple's still signing iOS 8.1, and this is big, right? Because 8.1.1 actually effectively patches the Pangu 8 jailbreak. So basically, Apple's kind of leaving this window open. So if you did actually upgrade either accidentally or you upgraded and you want to downgrade to be able to jailbreak, you can actually easily just go into iTunes, download the ISPW for 8.1, and click option, restore option check for update inside of iTunes, and then just go through that process and downgrade. And it's really easy. That'll work for any iOS version as long as it's still, Apple's still signing, because Apple's still signing it, because basically it goes out to the servers. iTunes goes out to the servers and says, okay, well, we're going to check to make sure this firmware is still being, signed, and OK gives it the thumbs up to go ahead and downgrade, to go ahead and restore or update it, thereby downgrading the device to 8.1 or whatever firmware you want to downgrade to. So this will work for any firmware that that Apple's still signing that you want to downgrade to. So again, I would definitely say, for those of you who want to, go ahead and do this sooner rather than later. Go ahead and do this right now as you're listening to this, because this is very important, because, in the future, Apple will definitely stop signing 8.1 eventually. And if you update by accident or you update on purpose and you want to go back down for whatever reason, you can't anymore once Apple stops signing this firmware. So this is really, really, really big. So just make sure, if you guys want to actually go ahead and do this, that you do downgrade your device back to 8.1 and go ahead and jailbreak that. But anyway, yeah, so what do you think about this, Jackson?
I don't really know.
From a jailbreaker's perspective, I guess, from second-person jailbreaker's perspective.
Just makes it a little bit easier.
Yeah.
Alright. Well, from my point of view, I'd say, back, by the way, it was awesome. Alright, I'd say you just download the firmware now so you have it later. That's what I would suggest. Just in case you get a really bad jailbreak and you want to get back, I say you just go back. But because can't you just download the firmware and use it later?
Yeah, and that's actually a good point as well. I'm glad you brought that up, Greg. It's a good point as well, because just because you're downgrading, it doesn't mean you have to jailbreak. You can stay on that stock firmware and wait until you want, just because Apple stops signing the firmware, it doesn't mean that the jailbreak tool won't work anymore. You'll still be able to use the jailbreak tool as long as you're still on a firmware that supports the jailbreak tool. Obviously, if you're on 8.1.1 and Apple closes the signing window and you can't install 8.1, then obviously you won't be able to use the jailbreak tool because it doesn't support 8.1.1. But as long as you're on a firmware that supports the jailbreak, then yes, you will be able to actually jailbreak, the 8.1 or whatever software version you're on after 8.1 stops being signed by Apple. So that is a very good point. You can stay stock and just decide to jailbreak later whenever you want. So that is a very good point, as I said.
Alright, well, I say we pick one more topic and then finish off with that, because we're going to go for a while now.
Yeah, and I think that the rest, we'll talk about in the second episode. But anyway, let's go ahead and talk about, I don't know. How about you pick one, Greg? I'll let you pick.
You want to stay in tech, or do you want to branch off?
Whatever one you want. It doesn't matter.
Alright, well, I think a big one that we should do now would be well, this could be two topics. I'd say we can go from best games of October through November, and then we could branch off to GTA 5 next gen. So,
okay.
Best games.
Okay, so,
The end of November.
Yeah.
So, it's the best time.
So basically, the best games of, okay, so this is going on to the video games topic. So the best video games of October through November. So, I really, I didn't buy many games from October through November, but I do want to point out, though, that, a lot of games did release, from October through November. Far Cry 4 released, GTA 5 Next Gen released, which I hear is amazing. Smash Brothers released for both the 3DS and the Wii U. I have neither versions. I actually went ahead and sold my 3DS. I did have a 3DS a long time ago. I sold my 3DS just because I really don't use it anymore. And, I wanted to have the money towards maybe if I decide to get new video games, or I decide to get an Xbox One or whatever it is in the future. I'm going to be definitely, purchasing more, games from GameStop, or more consoles or whatever. I'm definitely going to be purchasing something in the future from GameStop. So, I have in-store credit there. I sold my 3DS and my games, and I think I got around $190. So it was a pretty good deal. But anyway, so yeah, so I have not played Smash Bros, but I heard it was a pretty good game. I have not played the original game on the N64. I played Melee for GameCube. That was my first Smash Bros game, and I loved it. And then
God, yes. Sorry.
That's okay. And then I played Brawl on the Wii, and I liked that too. And that is, the last game in the series that I have played. But I heard it's really good. Did you guys get a chance to try Smash Bros. Or anything?
Yeah, I played it on the 3DS, and I was actually playing it on the Wii U a little bit earlier. It's actually a very good game, very addictive, I can say. If you do have the money to get it, I'd recommend to get it, honestly. I think it's a great game. It's very fun. Very, very fun.
Yeah, well, like David said, the last game I was able to play was Melee, and that was fantastic. I'll always love that game, so I would imagine that the new one is probably just as good or even better.
If I get a Wii U, I'm going to specifically get it for, for Smash Brothers.
What else would you get? Is there anything else for the Wii U besides, like, Mario or something?
Really? I don't know. I honestly don't think there is, because there could be. I think they might have released either Ghost or Black Ops 2 for the Wii U, but it's like, it's not this, obviously it's not the same. Like, you get a Call of Duty either on an Xbox or a PlayStation. You don't get one on a Nintendo console. It's not.
Nintendo's trying to.
Yeah.
They got a lucky rig with Smash Bros. Very lucky rig. Alright, so do you guys want to talk about one more game?
Yeah. So anyway, GTA 5 Next Gen also released. It released when? No, my bad.
Weeks ago.
November, I think it was November 17th. I'm pretty sure that's when it released.
It was more than a week ago.
Okay, so.
Wait, it was. I feel like it was before. I think it was before we had the 4-day weekend a couple weeks ago, or maybe it was after it. Because I remember Mitchell going out for the midnight release of it. Oh no, that was Advanced Warfare.
Yeah,
I'm getting mixed up.
I was about to say that's Advanced Warfare.
I forget what I just said.
But actually, I'm glad you brought that up though, because we should probably talk about Advanced Warfare too, because that came out along the same lines. That came out November 2nd or 3rd. Came out.
It was a while ago.
It came out the 3rd, but Day Zero Edition came out November 2nd. It came out a day earlier. So, of course, a lot of the people, by getting Day Zero Edition, basically what you had to do was you had to basically pre-order the game in advance, and you basically got access to Day Zero Edition if you put down $5 on the game for either, Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, Xbox One, or PlayStation 4, whatever console you had that the game was available for. And then, on day zero, on day zero, when it came time to actually get the game the day before it actually released, you'd go to GameStop and you'd pick up a copy, and they'd actually, inside it'd be a special edition of, a couple of DLC, codes with a couple of special edition guns and, weapons and a bunch of other stuff. So, and then also it gives you like a 7-day gold free trial, I think. So, yeah, anyway, that's pretty much it for Advanced Warfare. So that was, you can also, there's this new, double tap to jump thing that I really like. And that is awesome in, Advanced Warfare.
David, you were fanboying over that. I'm like, hey, want to play Black Ops? He's like, nope, double jump.
Yeah,
David, dolphin dive.
just by going back to Black Ops 2, the game mechanics of Black Ops 2, and comparing that to Advanced Warfare with the double jumps, I just find myself, whether it's multiplayer or playing with my friends or playing alone, whatever it is, I just find myself trying to double tap and it doesn't work. Just because it's not in the game, because it doesn't exist in Black Ops 2. So once you get used to it in Advanced Warfare, it's kind of hard to like not use that game mechanic, because it's really once you get used to it, it's really, really useful.
Yeah, it's like going. I think Jackson might know this from going from like different FIFAs, because there's certain things that from FIFAs that are just so different, it's not even funny. Like the player's stats, like you're used to having like this one guy who's really fast, and then the next year he's just terrible. So you just try and use him, and it just never works out. It's just so hard to get accustomed to the new game.
Right. So, and then also too, it's just, I guess with every Call of Duty, everything changes. Ghosts was a terrible release. I don't even think anyone wants to talk about that.
Can you explain to me why it was a bad game? I just don't know why it's a bad game. Like,
It was-
everyone hated it.
It was just, in my opinion, I knew as soon as I popped in the game, I was like, this is not Black Ops 2. This is not what I want. Because I grew, my first ever Call of Duty was Black Ops 2. Because I started late. I got the Xbox 360, Black Ops 2 came out like 3 or 4 months before I got the Xbox 360. So I was like, all right, I want a Call of Duty. I was like, I want to play one. I want to experience what it's like to play a Call of Duty. I played Halo before. I liked that, and I didn't like it as much as
That's a difference and a half.
No, but I'm saying it's the same thing as like a shooting game. And I had never played a shooting game before other than Halo and a couple of other, like Resident Evil. So I was like, I really want to play a Call of Duty. So I finally convinced, my parents, and I finally convinced, everyone, so I would get Black Ops 2. I got Black Ops 2, and, I played so much, and I still continue to play sometimes. Sometimes I get on, sometimes I stay on Advanced Warfare. But, I got Ghosts the next year because I was super excited. I was like, I can't wait to see what, the next Call of Duty game is. I can't wait to see. I love Black Ops 2. I can't wait to see what, the next installment is like. I pop in the game, load it in, and as soon as I see the title menu, I'm like, this is not Black Ops 2. This isn't what I want. I just knew from the start, before I even started the game up, I put it in, I started the title menu up, it said Call of Duty Ghosts, showed the emblem, it said press start, and I was like, before I even pressed start on the controller, I was like, this isn't what I want. So, I kind of knew straight away that it wasn't going to be a good game. But all my friends online were convincing me, oh, this is the future of Call of Duty, this is going to be awesome, this is the best game, blah, 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 the maps are awesome. And I just knew myself that this was a terrible game. And it turned out a couple of weeks later, all my friends agreed with me. You're right, this game is garbage, I hate it, this is trash, let's go back to playing BO2. So,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Also, sorry,
No, I was going to say, I don't know exactly what did it, what threw it over the top, that they were like, this is a terrible game, I don't ever want to play this again, I'm burning the copy of this game, I'm burning it to ashes, I don't care what happens, I'm done with this game. Like, I knew that the first 3 seconds I popped it in before I even hit the start button on my controller. So I don't know how it took them so long to figure it out.
Well, when you said your first game was Black Ops 2, I was like, you did not miss Black Ops 1. Black Ops 1 might be one of my favorite games I've ever played. It is so addicting, but also, like you said, you think Ghost stemmed strayed way too off the line from Black Ops 2, right? That's one of your reasons. Yeah. It just went astray from the Black Ops line.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, Black Ops 1 to Black Ops 2 was just like, Black Ops 1 was amazing, and Black Ops 2 was honestly just as good, so I can see why you were disappointed when you got Ghosts.
Yeah.
I've never really seen gameplay on it, though, because no one really... It was good for, like, one day, and then, like, I didn't see anyone else play it.
Yeah. So anyway, I mean, that's what you get for buying, and that's why, there are hardcore fans like my two good friends, Blake and Richie. So I'll give you guys a shout out. They're two really, really hardcore Call of Duty fans, and it's one thing if you're a hardcore Call of Duty fan, but I just advise everyone like me and Greg, wait a little while, watch some reviews on it. Watch some gameplays, make sure you really like the game, make sure the game's good, and don't be so impulsive that the day it comes out, you go and buy it.
Like me, wait 2 years.
You're setting yourself up for failure if you do that, though.
Dude,
What?
I don't know when I got Black Ops 2.
What?
I got it last year. It came out like 3 years ago.
So, right, that's what I'm saying. You really got to make sure that people like the game. The consensus is that it's a good game, and you, from what you see, you like the game. And even maybe if someone that you know has the game, then go over their house and play it, or ask them if you could borrow the game or something, and play the game for yourself and see if you like it. And if you like it, I would go out and buy a copy.
Alright, so final thoughts on anything?
I don't know. Well, let's hear what Jackson has to say about it, though, first.
What you got for this?
You just play a game after you see that you want it, you see that you like it. If you played it, you gotta check if there's a trial of it, at least. You gotta see if it's if it's your game. If you feel like you're gonna be playing it, if you feel like you're gonna be very active while having the game, if you feel like you're gonna do something that you have wanted to do in the game, it's like you just look at the game, you look at the aspects of the game, and you look at the game and you say, is this game gonna have this in it? Is it gonna have this? Because this is what I like. This is what I like to play. And then you look at that, and based off what's in the game, you can just tell what you like if it's gonna be your game or not.
Yeah, that also stems from the problem of midnight releases, because those people have no information to back on except for trailers, and that's why I will never be one of those people.
Yeah, and that's why I'm saying, unless you know 100% for sure that you're gonna love this game, and your $60 is gonna be worth it, because a lot of the times these games are $60. They're not.
Yeah, it's like 95
Yeah.
cents on.
My point is they're not cheap a lot of the time. So if you're spending your money on this, you want to make sure that you're going to get your $60 worth out of this game. It's not going to be a crap game like Ghosts was. And, it's just going to be a game that you're going to want to play over and over again. Regardless, I mean, I like Advanced Warfare, but there's still going to be times where I want to get on Black Ops 2 because I love Black Ops 2. That was my first Call of Duty I started on. And even if it wasn't, it's just a great game in general. So, just games like that, you spent your $60 well if you want to go back and play a previous Call of Duty if another Call of Duty is out. So anyway, guys, yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. What final thoughts and everything?
Well, also, like you just said, that if you got your money's worth, if you want to go back and play, even if you have the next version, that's pretty much me with every game that I buy. I only buy games that I know I'm going to want to play years after. Like, when I got FIFA 11, I still want to play it. It's just that they shut down the servers, and I still want to play it. That's how I know I got my money's worth for that. And Black Ops 1, I still want to play that. Black Ops 2, I want to play that. It's just, it works like that. But yeah, I'm good. That's fun. It's very fun.
What about you, Jackson?
Game never grows old unless you want it to.
That's
Wise
true.
words from a wise man.
Okay.
I'm good.
Wise words from a wise man. All right. Anyway, guys. Yeah. All right. That was a successful. Yeah, that was fun. All right. I guess we'll do it again eventually. Check back on all of our Twitters. I guess I'll find a way to put it in the description wherever you're watching this. I'll find a way to put it somewhere. But check all of our Twitters for when we go live again. We'll be live again eventually. But just definitely check all of our Twitters. And yeah, that's pretty much it for now. Please be sure to check out, our YouTube channels, our Twitters, and other things. And yeah, all right, guys. See ya.
Yeah.
All right. Peace. Peace.